Yeah. And more of a reflective question on your career. I mean, as you think about kind of people entering, just starting their additive career or kind of in engineering, like what's one or two pieces of advice like that you would give them, like based on your own career and learning? Like you've been in big companies, you've started your own company, you've been on the technical side, business side, but
Well, I think, and some of this gets into like art of war, like know thyself, right? So number one is you really need to have an understanding of what you like and what you don't like. I've got two semi-adult sons. They're in their 20s. They're just kind of starting their careers and they didn't know what they wanted to do. So I just started asking simple questions. Do you want to work outside or inside? Right? Do you want to work with your hands or with your brain? Right? Just let's start with just general questions and get you at least in a neighborhood that okay, these are some things that you could do. So I think number one is you have to know yourself. I think another one is you don't really know yourself until you're probably, I mean, really know yourself. I don't know. I don't want to ask you how old you are, but you get into your 30s, start approaching 40. At that point, you better know yourself, right?
mhm.
And so I think that you just have to kind of look at who you are and what the opportunities are. There was a micro is a guy, he's dirty jobs. He does a
Yep.
lot of
My son loves it.
discovery. Oh yeah. And so one of his first dirty jobs was this guy who had a septic cleaning business, which was just nasty. And it's like, why in the world would you do that? And the guy's like, hey, I don't remember the guy's name, but like, hey, a lot of people have these posters on their walls, these motivational posters that'll say follow your passion. It'll be a guy fly fishing on a lake high in the mountains, and it's just ideal. It's like, but the only way you can do that is either you're homeless or you're independently wealthy. Nobody else can do that. So he says, so I followed the opportunity and took my passion with me. So I think that's the second thing is follow the opportunity, take your passion with you. So that's the second thing. But I will say, I've been thinking about this. Somebody asked this question about calling, and it's kind of more of a metaphor. I don't know. It's not a metaphor, but we all have a calling, right? There's like this kind of thought that in the grand cosmos that I'm the only puzzle piece that's fits. And I don't think that that's really accurate because we can change over time. But as I thought about calling, it's kind of the thing that bridges our past to the future. And we're intersecting that arc. So it's an arc. And if you don't have a past, and I just went to a funeral, not to get down, but I just went to a funeral of a friend who'd had Alzheimer's. And so they'd lost their past. They had no memory. You're lost, you're untethered. And then I've also known people, a lot of young people, especially during COVID, that they know their past, maybe they don't like it, and they're just as confused about their future. So they're anchored where they are today, but there's no direction at all. So I think if you get untethered in either way, either you lose sight of where you want to go, or you've lost sight of where you've come or where you've come from, that you're lost. I think really anchoring on a calling, like what's the thing that I want to do, that I have a passion to do. And so I'll say that just kind of more philosophical, that's where we all need to find ourselves is where are we on that arc? And are we maintaining that? Are we going in a direction? Or are we just randomly following crumbs in the woods, Hansel and Gretel like? But specifically in additive, if we think about opportunities, there are a ton of opportunities. There's opportunities in software, in material science, in applications. Just a couple of things. 3D Systems is doing some stuff with bioprinting where they're cellularizing, they're building scaffolding and actually putting living tissue with that and hoping to grow cellularized organs. Which is brand new. So there's a lot of bio space in there. When we start looking at what aerospace and space is doing, it's kind of structures. So these new almost artificial intelligence kind of design to think about designing a lung or designing a structure that's just featherweight but super strong. It takes more than just what one human can do. There's like machine learning elements and a lot of mathematical things that you have to do. So there's a ton of opportunities, and also manufacturing. We have found, and it was a Wall Street Journal article, I think, that talked about the experiment of China manufacturing has gone awry. right? So depending on one country to manufacture everything for the world is not good. So there's a lot of reshoring opportunities in Europe and the US to where we're going to start putting manufacturing back. And I don't think that we're going to build manufacturing on the old foundation. I think additive and the kind of digital is going to be the foundation for the next manufacturing. Whether we use additive manufacturing or not, we're going to use data, we're going to use machine learning, where there's a lot of things that are going to augment what we do. So there's a great opportunity in advanced manufacturing for this generation.